The loneliest person in the office is not always the one sitting alone. Sometimes it is the person everyone knows. The person people message when something is urgent. The person who answers quickly, stays calm, fixes the problem, remembers the deadline, and somehow makes everyone else feel like things are under control. Everyone knows what that person does, but almost no one knows what it costs them. They know your title, your team, your calendar, your email tone, the version of you that joins the call on time, smiles when the camera turns on, and says, "No worries," even when there are many worries. But they do not know the moment after the laptop closes, when your face changes because no one is watching. They do not know how long you sit in your car before going inside. They do not know the strange emptiness that follows you home after a full day of talking, replying, helping, and being surrounded by people. That is what makes this kind of loneliness so hard to explain. From the outside, nothing looks wrong. You have a job. You have responsibilities. People like you. People respect you. Maybe they even depend on you. And still, somewhere beneath all of that, there is a quiet question you almost never say out loud. People know my role, but do they know me? Modern work has a strange way of turning a human being into a function. The reliable one, the calm one, the fast one, the one who can handle difficult clients, the one who stays late, the one who can always take one more thing. At first, it does not feel lonely. It can even feel good. Being trusted feels good. Being needed feels good. Being seen as capable can feel like proof that you matter. So you keep showing up as that version of yourself. You learn how to sound confident when you are unsure. You learn how to keep your face calm in meetings. You learn how to write polite messages when you are frustrated. You learn how to say, "I'm good," in a tone that ends the conversation before it becomes too real. And slowly, without realizing it, you become very skilled at being acceptable. Not too tired, not too needy, not too honest, not too complicated. Easy to work with, easy to depend on, easy to praise, but not easy to know. Because the version of you that survives at work is often edited. The sadness is removed, the anger is softened, the needs are hidden, the fear is made quiet. The exhaustion becomes professionalism. It is not fake, it is adapted. A fake person is trying to deceive. An adapted person is trying to survive. And many people learned a long time ago that survival means becoming the version of themselves that causes the least trouble. Maybe you learned this at work, or maybe you learned it at home long before work ever shaped you. Maybe you were the child who did not ask for much because the house already felt heavy. Maybe you were the smart one, the mature one, the responsible one, the one people did not worry about because you seemed so capable. Maybe you learned that being useful felt safer than being emotional. So when adulthood arrived, the workplace did not create the mask. It simply gave the mask a title. Now the old role has a salary, a laptop, a badge, a calendar, and a professional email signature. And people admire it. They say you are strong. They say you are dependable. They say they do not know what they would do without you. But being depended on can become its own kind of invisibility. Because people may notice what you carry, but not what carrying it does to you. They may notice how well you perform, but not how little of yourself you are allowed to bring into the room. They may know your work habits, but not your inner weather. And after a while, that gap becomes painful. The gap between the person everyone sees and the person you quietly are. The person everyone sees is fine. The person inside is tired. The person everyone sees is helpful. The person inside sometimes wants to disappear for a while. The person everyone sees is calm. The person inside is trying not to feel resentful. This is why workplace loneliness can be so confusing. It does not always look like isolation. Sometimes it looks like a full inbox, a calendar packed with meetings, a phone that never really rests, a group lunch where everyone is laughing and you are smiling at the right times, but still feel like you are watching life through glass. Sometimes it looks like remote work. You wake up, open the laptop, and suddenly your home becomes an office before your mind has even become a person. Your face appears in a square. Your name appears in a chat. Your voice appears when you unmute. People see your background. They hear your updates. They know your tasks. But when the call ends, the room goes quiet in a way that feels too loud. The screen goes dark. The little green dot disappears. And for a few seconds, there is no proof that anyone actually saw you. Only that you participated. Only that you answered. Only that you were useful. This is the hidden loneliness of being functional. People can interact with you all day and still never reach you. They can know your schedule, but not your sadness. They can know your strengths, but not your fears. They can know your performance, but not your private life. And the more competent you are, the easier it becomes for people to assume there is nothing to see. Competent people hide pain very well. They hide it in clean emails, in finished projects, in jokes during meetings, in calm facial expressions, in the phrase, "It's all good." And sometimes the world rewards the hiding so much that the person forgets they are hiding. They just think this is adulthood, this is professionalism, this is what stable people do. You work, you answer, you help, you keep going. You do not make your inner life anyone else's problem. And for a while, it works. It helps you succeed. It helps you avoid conflict. It helps you stay respected. It helps you feel in control. But the hidden cost is that the real you begins to receive less and less air. You become known for your usefulness, but not your humanity. And that creates a quiet grief. Not the grief of losing someone else, the grief of losing access to yourself. You may not notice it at first. You just feel a little flat, a little distant, a little tired in a way sleep does not fully fix. A compliment comes, and it does not land. A promotion happens, and you are grateful, but not alive. The weekend arrives, and instead of joy, there is only recovery. Sunday evening comes, and your body understands before your mind does. The week is about to ask for the work version of you again. And maybe this is where the sadness becomes sharper. Because you may not even hate your job. That would be easier to explain. You may like parts of it. You may like your coworkers. You may appreciate the stability. And still, something in you feels missing. That missing thing is not always a new career, not always a different company, not always a bigger paycheck. Sometimes it is the feeling of being known beyond what you can produce. Because a person can have job security and still feel emotionally unsafe. A person can be respected and still feel unseen. A person can be needed everywhere and known almost nowhere. This is where many people get trapped. They think the answer is to become even more useful, work harder, achieve more, become more impressive. Maybe then the emptiness will quiet down. Maybe then someone will finally see them. But usefulness can become a trap when it becomes your main way of earning closeness. Because the people who need you may not always know you. The people who praise you may not always understand you. They may love the part of you that performs, while the rest of you waits quietly in the background. Not because you are unlovable, but because you learn to offer people the part of you that was easiest to accept. The polished part, the strong part, the helpful part, the part that does not interrupt anyone's comfort. And after doing that for long enough, being real can begin to feel strangely dangerous. You might want to say, "I'm tired," but instead you say, "I can handle it." You might want to say, "I feel alone here," but instead you ask about the project. You might want to say, "I don't know who I am outside of being useful," but instead you send the update, not because you are weak, not because you are dishonest, but because the role has become familiar. And familiar things can feel safe, even when they are slowly making us smaller. The turning point usually does not arrive like a dramatic breakdown. It is often much quieter. A meeting ends, and you realize you have spoken for an hour without feeling present for 1 minute. You sit in your car outside your home, not wanting to go in yet, but not knowing where else to go. Another message arrives. "Can you take a quick look?" And a flash of resentment appears so quickly you almost feel guilty for it. Someone says, "You always seem so put together," and instead of feeling proud, you feel strangely sad, because they are praising the mask, and some part of you wishes they could see the face underneath it. But not everyone deserves access to your inner life. Being known does not mean becoming emotionally available to everyone. It does not mean telling every coworker your deepest fears. Some boundaries are healthy. Some privacy is necessary. Some people are only meant to know the professional version of you. But if everyone only knows that version, something human starts to starve. There needs to be at least one place where you are not performing competence. One place where you do not have to be useful to be wanted. One person who knows the difference between your normal voice and your tired voice. One conversation where you do not have to turn your life into an update. The way back does not begin with a dramatic confession. Sometimes it begins with one honest sentence. "I'm actually at capacity this week. I need more time. I can help, but not today. I've been feeling stretched lately. I don't want to automatically say yes anymore." Small honesty can feel almost rebellious when you have spent years being easy. It creates a tiny crack in the professional mask, not enough to expose everything, just enough to let the real you breathe. And maybe that is the beginning. Not becoming less responsible, not becoming less professional, not abandoning the life you have built, but refusing to disappear inside it, because you are not only your job, you are not only your title. You are not only the person who replies fast, fixes things, holds everything together, and makes pressure look clean. You are a whole private world. A person with memories, fears, humor, needs, contradictions, hopes, disappointments, and quiet dreams that do not fit inside a job description. A workplace can know your value and still miss your humanity. A team can know your skills and still never know your story. A room full of people can know your name and still not know your life. So maybe the question is not only, am I doing well? Maybe the deeper question is, where in my life am I allowed to be known? Not admired, not needed, not praised, known? Because being useful can make people come to you, but being known is what lets someone stay with you. And if everyone knows your job, but nobody knows you, the answer is not to become more impressive. It is to slowly return to the parts of yourself that were never meant to be measured. The parts that do not perform. The parts that do not produce. The parts that simply want to be seen. Because the saddest thing is not that people know what you do. The saddest thing is forgetting that you were ever more than what you do. And you were. Before the title, before the calendar, before the inbox, before the mask, you were a person. And that person is still there, waiting for a life where they do not have to be useful just to belong.